What is going on, comic book fans? Welcome back to the channel, and you guys got it right. It is time for another Final Order Cutoff Speculation and Recommendations video. This is the video where I go over all the books that I was able to find on this weekend's Final Order Cutoff that I believe might be worthy of a little bit of speculation. And then I cover any books that I was able to find on this weekend's Final Order Cutoff that I think might be worthy of picking up because I think the stories sound so freaking good. And then I do a little bit of new comic book day cover lever speculation as well at the end of the video. Alright guys, that is this video. I think I've done the intro enough times that I don't need to go into super detail because you guys already know what this video is about. So let's go ahead and dive right in to our 3 weekly speculation reminders. If you guys are seasoned speculators or you guys have seen this video series before, you guys can look down in the description below and jump right ahead to Final Order Cutoff cover lever picks. But if you guys are new to speculation or new to this video series, hear me out and listen to these 3 weekly speculation reminders. And the first one up is the most important in my opinion, and that is you guys have to do your own research. I am going to present some information to you guys today, but before you go out and buy any of these books, what I ask you guys to do is go check out other comic book YouTubers you trust, other comic book websites that you trust, and other comic book apps that you trust. Gather the most information possible so that way you guys can make the best decisions possible for yourself. Because remember, you guys are spending your own hard-earned money on these books. Not my money, it's your money. And the second reminder is that there are delays with comic books, so sometimes a book's release date will get moved for one reason or another, so it could show up on Final Order Cutoff multiple times. And the last and final reminder is another pretty big important one, is that DC Comics, Marvel Comics, and all the indie publishers can update the books that are on Final Order Cutoff all the way up into the order deadlines. And we'll get into those order deadline dates in just a second. So what I suggest that you guys do is keep up with these 2 places. The Comic Book Frontier is a Facebook group which I linked down in the description below. It's run by my good friend Al. He's an awesome Final Order Cutoff speculator, and he will update his Final Order Cutoff list all the way up until the order deadline dates. So you guys will always have the most up-to-date information. But there is one other place that I really like, and that is coverprice.com. Again, links down in the description below, and they are another great place for Final Order Cutoff speculation, and they usually release their Final Order Cutoff speculation list on Sunday, and that is right before the Final Order Cutoff order deadline dates. Alright guys, those are my 3 weekly speculation reminders, so let's go ahead and find out what this weekend's Final Order Cutoff order deadline dates are. Alright guys, I will make this quick. If you guys are interested in picking up any of the books that I'm going to discuss in today's video, you guys need to get your orders in by January 28th of 2024 for your DC Scout and Vault books, and January 29th for your Marvel and all the other indie publishers. And just a quick reminder, the reason why you want to get your orders in by these dates is because you will get a discount off the cover price of these books. And if you guys are looking to speculate on these books, that means your profits will be a little higher than just buying them on New Comic Book Day. Alright guys, let's go ahead and dive into this weekend's Final Order Cutoff cover lever picks. Alright guys, I found a bunch of really cool covers, and this first one that we're going to talk about is something I've never heard of before, so let's go ahead and check this out. It is Grimm issue number 1, the pen and ink issue number 1 reprint, so on the insides there is no color, it's just pen and inks, but this is the cover B, which is a Spot UV variant. So I'm not exactly sure what a Spot UV is. I think it's just like, you know, the color is mostly red, and then there's like a little UV light that maybe makes the face skull a little darker. I'm not 100% sure, but it's super freaking cool, and I'm a big Grimm fan. I really like this cover a lot. You guys let me know down in the comments below if my description of Spot UV is completely off. You guys can also go on Google and find out for yourself. But guys, next up is Batman issue number 144. This is the cover C variant done by Raza. It's super duper cool. I'm a big Batman fan and this cover is awesome, but this next one is even better. This is Batman issue number 144, the cover D variant done by Matteo Scalera. This is so freaking cool. I love this cover, and I think a lot of Batman fans are. This is open order, but it did have a deadline on when you needed to get your order in by if you were ordering by previews, which I did. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. It is Batman 89 Echoes, issue number 2, the cover B variant done by Daniel Warren Johnson. And with just it being Daniel Warren Johnson, I think it merits a little bit of worthy of speculation, but it's also Batman 89 with Michael Keaton, and you know, who doesn't love a little nostalgia? All right, guys, next up is Batman Brave in the Bold, issue number 10, the cover B variant done by Francisco Martina, featuring what I believe is Artemis on the cover, looking epic. I do wish there was a little more color in this. It's very dark, but overall this cover is super freaking badass. Now next up is a cover that I personally do not like, but I think a lot of you guys out there will. This is Catwoman issue number 62, the cover D, which is the 1:25 ratio variant done by Leslie Lyrics Lee, featuring Catwoman on a giant cat ball, looking kind of sexy. It's just not my favorite kind of artwork, but some of these covers have done well on the secondary market when they are 1:25s. Now this next cover is ripping awesome. It is Green Lantern War Journal issue number 6, the cover B variant done by Raza. This is a gorgeous cover. It is so good, featuring Jon Stewart like silhouetted in mostly green and a little bit of like darker greens and blues. So good. Now what you guys have to keep in mind with this cover is that this is open order, but it's issue 6 of a Green Lantern book, but it's not Hal Jordan, so I think the orders will be a little lighter. And how many stores are going to order just the cover B? Not many. So this cover could be slightly more rare. Just think about that. Now next up is a hunky cover with Nightwing issue number 111. Now this is the cover D variant, which is done by Nick Robles. And again, I put a lot of sexy covers on this channel, and you know what? Why not put some hunky covers on this channel as well? Because there are other people that don't like the women figure as much as the men figure, so this one might be for you guys. And again, with a cover like this, it might not be heavily ordered, so this could be a little more rare. Now next up is Wonder Woman issue number 6. This is the cover E variant, which is the 1:25 ratio variant done by Kevin Wada. It's pretty cool. I like it. Again, we're on issue number 6, so the 1:25s will be a little bit more rare. So this cover might be one that you guys want to look into. Now next up is Avengers Twilight issue number 3. Now this is the variant cover done by Daniel Acuna, which is the main artist on the book. And it's just a really, really cool cover of Miss Marvel. And she looks gigantic and she looks awesome. And you know what? Maybe it's worthy of speculation. I'm not 100% sure. There is no speculation in the guts that I know of. I just think it's a gorgeous cover, and you know what? Who knows? Now next up is Ghost Rider Final Vengeance issue number 1, the 1:100 ratio variant done by Greg Capullo. So you have Greg Capullo on a new number 1. It's a virgin. It's a 1:100. There's a little bit of meat there to chew on. There also is a little bit of speculation in the guts. We'll get to that in the final order cut-off speculation section, but I think this cover could be worthy of picking up and making a couple bucks on. Now next up is Star Wars The High Republic issue number 4. Now this is the 1:100 ratio variant. It's a connecting cover done by Miko Suyon. Now it's Star Wars, it's a 1:100, and so many of the Star Wars 1:100 variants do well on the secondary market. Now this one to me is not good. It's not good artwork. I have no idea who this character is, but so many of the Star Wars 1:100s do well, so I just want to share that with you guys. And you guys, check with your Star Wars gurus. They might know who this is, and it might be worthy of spec because it might be a really cool character on the cover. All right, guys, we got 2 more covers left. Next up is White Widow issue number 4, the variant cover done by Rose Besh. Now, there is also a Virgin, which is a 1:50. She's done this kind of pose before, but this is actually pretty good in my opinion. I don't hate it. I don't love it, so I'm sharing it with you guys. And you know what? That 1:50 could be worthy of speculating on because it is pretty nice. All right, guys, the last cover that I want to show you guys is Vampirella Dracula Rage issue number 1 with the cover B variant done by Selena. Now, I'm sure there is a version of this cover as well. I could not find out which letter it was within the variants, but guys, this cover by Selena is really good, and some of these Vampirella covers do well in the future, so you might want to pick this up, put it in your long-term spec box, and just see what happens years from now. All right, guys, those are my cover lover picks. Let's go ahead and cover the second prints, third prints, fourth prints, and beyond, and also those facsimiles. All right, guys, I did double check the websites that I used to make this video, and I did find a new second print that just hit the list this morning. So make sure you guys are checking with the Comic Book Frontier and cover price before you put in any of your orders. Now, the first second print that I found was Avengers Twilight issue number 1 with the second print variant done by Daniel Acuna. Really cool book from what I've heard. I haven't read my issue yet. I just like what if stories if you're Marvel and Elseworld Tales if you're DC. So this what if story just sounds really cool. Now next up is Original X-Men issue number 1 with the second print variant done by Elizabeth Torque. I'm not sure what this book is all about, but here's a second print, and it's kind of homaging, I forgot what number of X-Men it is, but it is pretty cool. Now next up is James Bond 007 issue number 1 with the second print variant done by Dave Johnson. And the last book is Cobra Commander issue number 1 with the second print with variants A, B, C, and D. And the artwork for these have not been released yet. And even the artists who are doing the artwork have not been released yet to my knowledge. So there's going to be 4 variants for this book, and I'm not sure what the covers are going to be. But guys, check in with your local LCS and keep up to date online as we get closer to those final order cutoff order deadline dates. Those were the second prints. Let's go ahead and dive into the facsimiles. I did find 2. There was Marvel Superhero Secret Wars issue number 3 with the facsimile, and there's also a foil, of course, and there's also a 1:25 ratio variant done by Nick Bradshaw, which is a brand new cover for this facsimile book. I'm not exactly sure why Marvel thinks it's appropriate to make new covers for an older book and sell it to people. Seems very shady in my opinion. That's my own opinion, but let's go ahead and move over to the final book. And this is a cover that has not been released yet, but I believe it's going to be the cover that's up on screen right now. It is Green Lantern issue number 87. Now this is the facsimile edition. Obviously there's the cover A, the cover B blank, and the cover C foil. Because why not? You obviously need a blank and then a foil of a facsimile book. Why not? But this is a pretty cool book for a facsimile. It does have the first appearance of Jon Stewart and the second appearance of Guy Gardner. All right, guys, those are the second prints and beyond. Let's go ahead and check out what books that I was able to find on this weekend's final order cutoff had a little bit of speculation in the guts. All right, guys, we're going to kick it off with an independent, and the first book up is Man's Best issue number 1, The Ash Can. Now, this story sounds really freaking cool. It's set off way into the future. We as human beings kind of like destroyed our planet. There's so many stories like that. So we go off into space trying to find a new planet. But supposedly in the story, humans are a bunch of dicks and we haven't learned from our mistakes, and we go down to another planet and we get captured. And Man's best friends, these animals that you see on the cover right here, which have like these crazy android suits things, are our only hope of being freed and surviving. But do these animals, which I'm sure have a little more intelligence now that it's like way off into the future, think it's okay to save these crappy humans who are rude and terrible? I don't know, but it sounds like a really cool concept, and this is the ash can for that story. I did see some cover art for the first issue. There are some really great covers. There's one by Jay Lee that I absolutely love, but this is a really cool concept. I really like it, and this is the ash can for that new independent title. But guys, next up is Nightwing issue number 111 with the first appearance of the Son of Grey, an ancestor of the Graysons during the 1300s. Now next up is Ghost Rider Final Vengeance issue number 1. I told you there was some speculation in the guts. In this book, the Hood becomes the new Spirit of Vengeance. Now, I believe Marvel has had a hard time doing something really cool with the Hood. I think he's a really cool character, and becoming the Spirit of Vengeance could be really cool, but he is a bad guy. So a bad guy being the Ghost Rider, what is that going to do? What's going to turn out? I don't know. Or how is it going to turn out, I should say. All right, guys, next up is Giant Size Fantastic Four, issue number 1. The solicitations mentions a new yet ancient threat arises from the sea. Who is that going to be? Is it actually a new first appearance? I'm not sure. Check out Giant Size Fantastic Four issue number 1 and find out. All right, guys, next up is Punisher issue number 4. Now, this has the first team appearance of Jigsaw, a terror organization. Now, the last book is a big milestone issue for Spawn, which is issue number 350. There are a bunch of different gorgeous variants for this. I personally like the cover J or K. Let me go ahead and check up here. I missed it. Up here, it is the cover E, sorry, by Jonathan Galpon. I think it's a gorgeous cover. It has like early Spawn vibes to it, but the cover A by Puppeteer Lee is really good. Todd McFarlane is really good. There's a bunch of great covers. There are going to be some signed ones. If a store orders a certain amount, they're going to get a book for free that is signed, which is really cool. So, you know, Todd McFarlane is doing some really cool things for this Spawn 350 run. So make sure you guys are keeping an eye on this, because this is, you know what, a huge milestone for any book, 350 issues, but it's really cool for an independent title. All right, guys, those are all the books that I found on this weekend's final order cutoff that I thought had a little bit of speculation. Let's go ahead and find out what my spec picks of the week are. This was a decent week for speculation. We had a bunch of cover lever picks. We had some second prints of facsimiles, and there was actually some books, 6 books that had a little bit of speculation, but there wasn't too much meat on any of these books. There's nothing that we can really sink our teeth in and hopefully make a bunch of money, especially right out of the gate. I know a lot of you guys that do final order cutoff speculation like to make that money immediately. But let's go ahead and cover the books that I think have more meat on them than the others. And the first one up is a cover lever pick. It is Green Lantern War Journal issue number 6, the cover B variant done by Raza. Raza is such a fantastic artist. This cover reminds me a lot of that Black Panther cover that he did that was mostly black, and then you get the Black Panther coming out with a little bit of purples. It was fantastic, and I think that book does okay on the secondary market. I haven't checked in a while, but I think in the future, both that Black Panther and this Green Lantern one that is on this weekend's final order cutoff could do well, because the artwork is just so good. Now, that is really it for cover lever picks, but there is one book that I think could do well because there is a fantastic cover for it and it has a little bit of speculation. And guys, I'm talking about Ghost Rider Final Vengeance issue number 1, because it has the first appearance of the Hood as the Ghost Rider, which is a little bit of spec, but also that amazing 1-in-100 ratio variant done by Greg Capullo. Come on, it's Greg Capullo, so it's fantastic freaking art. You got the Ghost Rider whipping his chain, like surfing on his motorcycle. It is really good, and it's at 1-in-100. So many of the 1-in-100s at Marvel Comics for some reason do well on the secondary market, even when there is nothing in the guts, and this one has a little something in the guts. Now, the last book I want to talk about is Spawn 350, because I did read something online or on Instagram or something where Todd McFarlane is doing something cool where he's giving shops that order a certain amount of books a signed book for free, I believe, or a normal cover price for the store. So that is really cool. I don't think there's going to be a super ton of them, so that will be the most rare or the more rare issue of 354 Spawn, and it's just a Todd McFarlane signature, which is expensive to get. He is doing more and more signatures, so his signature is not as rare as it used to be. But guys, that is a really cool book and a really cool idea that Todd McFarlane is doing. So those are the 3 books that I think had a little more meat on this weekend's final order cutoff that I think you guys consider a little bit more than the others. But reminder, do your own research. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move over to next week's New Comic Book Day cover lever picks that I think might be worthy of a little speculation. All right, guys, next week's New Comic Book Day is January 31st of 2024. It's a fantastic Wednesday. There is one cover that I'm trying to score for myself because I think the cover is going to sell out quickly and it's going to do well on the secondary market. So let's go ahead and find out what that book is first. I'm talking about Wolverine issue number 42, the 1-in-25 ratio variant done by Arthur Adams. I'm not a gigantic Arthur Adams fan, but this cover right here with Wolverine, Laura Kinney on the front, it is just so good. I've emailed multiple people trying to secure myself a copy ahead of next week's New Comic Book Day. I haven't done it just yet, but fingers crossed because I love this cover. Now next up is World Tree issue number 7. Now this is the Ultra Raw 26 MegaCon exclusive done by Yadvinder. I'm not going to pronounce the rest of the name. Singh Rana. I tried, guys, but this cover at MegaCon is awesome. There were some other MegaCon variants that I found in League of Comic Geeks that are supposed to come out next week, maybe at MegaCon, but this cover is fantastic, and World Tree is such a great book. So guys, keep an eye out for that one if you guys are at MegaCon. Now next up is Dark Ride issue number 10, the cover D, which is the 1:25 ratio variant done by Dennis Culver and Tony Fleece. Every single 1:25 for Dark Ride are these Disney homages, and they usually sell well on the secondary market. The early ones sold better than these later issues, but you guys got to think, we're now on issue 10 of an independent that's had some delays, so the orders are most likely going to be a little smaller, so there's going to be less of these covers now than the earlier one. So just consider that as you're thinking about this cover and maybe picking it up. Now there are 2 more covers, and they are both for Moon Man issue number 1. Now this is the independent that has a co-writer of Kid Cudi, the music artist, and he's a pretty good music artist, so that's why this book might have a little bit of buzz behind it, because it does have a musician behind it. Is it really worthy of a little extra speculation just because of that? Probably not, but just that the fact that it has a little bit more buzz is pretty cool, and some of these covers are worthy just on the cover art themselves. The covers that I like is the cover D, which is the 1:20 ratio variant done by Sanford Green. Guys, Sanford Green is doing a bunch more covers lately, and his covers are fantastic. Or maybe I'm just noticing him more, but man, his artwork is really good. And this one right here, where you got the Moon Man, and he looks like he's kind of like flying of some kind, but there's people inside of him like riding, so there's definitely something that's happening inside the book that's on the cover. It's really cool, and I love that it's silhouetted in his body. Now the next one is the cover D, which is the 1:100 done by Bill Sienkiewicz. It's a Bill Sienkiewicz cover, and this is really, really cool. Alright guys, that was the last cover that I found on next week's New Comic Book Day, which is January 31st of 2024, that I think could be worthy of a little bit of speculation. Let's go ahead and find out what the 2 books that I found in this weekend's Final Order Cutoff that are worthy of my Final Order Cutoff recommendations to read. We're going to go ahead and dive right in, because I have a feeling this video is a little long already. So let's find out what this first book up, and it is Helen of the Windhorn issue number 1. Now why I'm excited is because it has the writer of Tom King. Now the art is done by Bilquis Evely? Totally butchering your first and your last name, which is rare because normally I can pronounce the first name. But guys, let me go ahead and read the synopsis for this new Tom King book. The Eisner Award-winning and best-selling creative team of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comes this gothic sword and sorcery epic that's Conan the Barbarian meets the Wizard of Oz. Sucked me in just with that comparison. Conan the Barbarian, Wizard of Oz, so good. Following the tragic death of her late father, C.K. Cole, the established pulp writer and creator of the popular warrior character Othana, Helen Cole is called back to her grandfather's enormous illustrious estate, the Windhorn House. Scared by Cole's untimely passing and lost in a new strange world, Helen wreaks drunken havoc upon her arrival. However, her chaotic ways begin to soften as she discovers a lifetime of secrets hiding within the mirrored rooms and hallways of this expanse manor. For outside its walls, within the woods, dwell the legendary adventures that once were locked away within her father's stories. That sounds really, really good. I hope something crazy and epic happens in it. Hopefully it's not just drowning in text and it takes forever to read. Hopefully it's in that middle of the Tom King, just like The Penguin. That is a sweet spot for Tom King. It's wordy, but not too wordy. But yeah, there's a bunch of different covers for this. I'm really excited for another independent title from Tom King. But let's go ahead and move on to the next book, which is Six Fingers issue number 1, coming from the writer of Dan Waiters and art by Sumit Kumar. Now, this book ties into another book that came out, I believe, last week on Final Order Cutoff, and that book was written by Ram V. But let's go ahead and read the synopsis for this one, Six Fingers issue number 1. Miniseries premiere! Neo Nuemba, archaeology student Jonas Vales, has always been so very in control of his life. But when he commits a brutal murder using the MO of a historic and notorious serial killer, everything begins to spiral out of control. Primarily as Jonas doesn't remember doing it, what follows is a deadly cat and mouse game as Jonas seeks refuge in the rain-soaked streets of Neo Nuemba. He will stop at nothing to unravel the secrets and ciphers of what he did and why he did it. But each revelation only leads further into the dark heart of his future metropolis and Jonas's own heartbroken soul. Gripperly written by writer Dan Waiters with hauntingly atmospheric art and covers by Sumit Kumar and Lee Loughridge, Six Fingers is a miniseries that will keep you on the edge to the very end. That just sounds super cool. I'm a big fan of Dan Waiters, and I cannot wait to see how this is going to connect to the Rom V book. I think it's super cool that they're doing this book that's going to connect with each other. And yeah, those are the two books on this weekend's final order cutoff that I think you guys should consider picking up or pre-ordering because I think the stories sound so freaking good. All right, guys, let's go ahead and wrap this video up. Before I end this video, I just want to thank each and every single one of you who are still watching this video right now from the very first frame until this one right here. And I just want to let you guys know, you guys are legends. You guys really are. Thank you guys so much for supporting the video. Guys, look down real quick. If you guys have not smashed that like button just yet, do me a favor and smash that like button now. One more thing, if you guys looked down while you were smashing the like button and you saw the subscribe button and it wasn't like, you didn't click it and hit subscribe and hit, the notifications bell, I don't know what you guys are doing, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're absolutely insane. And what you should do is get yourself subscribed and hit that bell for the notifications, like all of them. So when I post every video, you guys are notified. And before you leave, if you didn't do it when you were down there supposed to hitting the like button, do it now. Smash that like button. All right, guys, that is it for me. I'll be back tomorrow with my best of 2023 cover lover picks on a Friday, which will be a ton of fun. So guys, I will see you tomorrow, and then you guys have a great weekend, a great final order cutoff, and I'll catch you guys on Tuesday with the Wednesday pull list. All right, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.